everyone, welcome to Get Ready with me, Louise. So I'm a mess and I'm unorganized as always, and we're just going to get started. So today we're going to play with the TooFaced palette in Born This Way, the Natural Nudes. And that's what this looks like, okay? Now yesterday, I played with the what is it called? Sunset Stripped palette. Alright, so let's get a look at them. You can definitely see some similarities. I would say this more neutral. This one's more bronze. I guess sunset. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean. That type of look. They are very different. They are different. There's no shades that are exactly the same. But I don't necessarily think you need them both, but I could see where you might. But let's get started. So the first shade I'm going to go into is Cocoa, and it's this one right here. We're going to start with that over here. I'm having a time today, you all. I'm telling you. I do have some thoughts, though, while playing with this brand. I will say so far, in all honesty, and I like some of their palettes. I like some of their palettes, and I think they're outdated. I'll say that. I like the fact that I own them, and I'm glad I have them. But I can see where some are being discontinued. I can see where some are limited editions. But I will say that these palettes here, these two particular ones, I think they carry their best formula. I do. Or it could just be maybe the formula is the same, but they're just more today's color story, maybe even. I don't know. I feel like they are different, and the reason I say that is because of these metallic shades. Most of their metallics, you don't even see them, you know what I mean? They're not shiny or anything. They're barely there. I mean, they look nice on my aging eyes, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that either. But I just feel like it's outdated. That's the best word I can put for it, outdated. But that does not mean that they're bad. It just means that it's time to maybe change up the formulas on those palettes. Maybe bring them back even with an updated formula. But I will say these two palettes have surprised me when it comes to that area, like the metallic area. The mattes are the same. They blend well. They build. They're all that, you know. That does not surprise me none. Alright. Now we're going to take that same shade and we're going to run it under the lower lash line. I got all my brushes sitting here because I am so unorganized. And we're going to run that along the lower lash line. And again, I'm not a makeup artist, so I don't know what I'm doing. So don't, what I say take with a grain of salt. I'm just telling you as a consumer who doesn't have any experience, but that likes to play with makeup, how the palette performs. And I'm never not, just bashing a brand for, you know what I mean? I'll tell you how I feel, and that's that. Plus, I spent my own money on it. Like, I don't want people to spend if I don't like it, or if there's a reason why, I don't think you should get it, And even I will admit, I buy their holiday palettes every year. For what reason, I do not know. It's the cuteness. It's the cuteness, because I know I'm not going to care for it. Not really. I mean, can it be used? Absolutely. But compared to everything else in my collection, will I choose that over stuff? No. No, I won't. And I know that. But yet, I still buy it. And that's kind of where I'm coming from when I'm telling you stuff, So take what I say as just that, Sometimes I'll just buy it for the packaging. which is stupid. I know. Just let me be your fool. That's the way I say it. I'm the fool. Alright. I think I got it. This brush is way too big to be using down here, but, you know. I'm just making sure it's all blending well. Alright, let's go to a different shade. Let's go into this shade right here. It's called Truffle. And it's the darkest shade. I will say you can definitely get a nice smoky look out of this palette also. In a different way from the other one. This one's going to be more neutral, really. It's just more of a neutral color story. And there's nothing wrong with, you know, I'm not saying there's something wrong with that. I do like I said, each palette goes very light to very dark, and I like that. It is an all-in-one palette for me, so I like that also. The color story is pretty simple to understand, and I think you can create a lot of different looks. So I do think it is good in that way also. I am really just slapping this on you all. I really hope this looks okay by the end, because I'm not so sure. It's getting there. Like I said, these do blend well, though. I mean, and to be honest, I really do like the looks that come out of it. That's the weirder part about it. Even though, like, I don't believe I'd, like, my Natasha Denona palettes and stuff, I'm definitely going to grab for them more. But, I mean, these do produce really pretty looks. I can't deny that. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, why would I not grab for this palette, you know? I don't know. It's a good question, huh? Something to definitely think about. My eyes are so watery today. And I'm going to say, I'm using my Morphe brushes again because I just wanted to get a feel for them. And so far, I've used the M456 and the M547. I really do like the shape of these brushes. And they blend very lovely. But they are scratchy. Now, I've said before, if you add conditioner to these brushes and let it sit for a second, it does soften them up. I'm going to go into Truffle again, but I'm going to use the M431 this time, and we're going to take it on along the lower lash line. But if you do put conditioner in these and just let it sit for a little bit, it really does soften the bristles up some. But if you don't, they are almost, they almost hurt, to be honest. I don't understand how, like, I get the shape of them, so I guess I can understand it from that point of view, like why people would recommend them. And they are affordable, very affordable, so I guess I get it in that aspect. But I don't care for these brushes, to be honest. Not these ones. Now, I do like the Jaclyn Hill brushes. And people talk about the Ariel one. And I've thought about purchasing those because I'm curious about them if they're still available. But I haven't yet. Oh. Poke myself. And don't poke yourself in the eyes with them, or you're really going to be hurting big time. Okay, now I'm going to go into the shade Rose Gold, and we're going to pop that on the lid. And it is the shade right here, and I'm going to use the brush M124. This brush, however, I do like. It's a very small flat brush, and I like it because it is so small. and my eyes are hooded, so it does let me move the shadow nicely. Well, any shadow nicely for that matter. And it does lay the shadow down very nice on my lid. And the shadow itself is nice also. I mean, obviously, or it's not going to lay well, but you know what I mean. This is still a very rough brush. I won't deny that. Again, I think it's the size that I like of them, but the feel of them I don't, is basically how it goes. They work wonderfully, but once you experience a nice brush, it is so hard, even if it's a nice size, to even use them. And I think that's why, because like I have my brushes in this thing, and like I have my Refer brushes like right there, and then I have like my Sigma brushes to where they're reachable, and then I got an assortment of like Sephora, BH, and then this brush, what is this? Luna Magic brushes. A couple of Natasha in there, but like it's a mixture of them, and they're the closest to me because those are the brushes that are just so soft. But they, I mean, well, the Refer obviously costs way more than these, but Sigma isn't that much. And if you get a sale, oh, watch for their sales, because let me tell you, now that is a different story, because then you can get them pretty cheap. Alright, I'm going to go into the shade now, Sparkling Sand. This one right here. And we're going to put that on my inner corner. Give me the brush. And I didn't wet any of these, and I'm basically just going to pop it right on the inner corner, not nowhere else. Let me make sure I got that clean. Okay, and we're just going to pop it right on this inner corner here. I should have actually used a lighter shade, but I didn't. I should have probably used like Glistening Snow, maybe even Shimmering Pearl. I didn't realize how dark this was technically for an inner corner. I think it'd be a pretty lid shade, but I had already done it, so you know, once it's on there, you know. So, but it still turned out okay. I think it's still a pretty shade. It's just better suited for me on my lid, not maybe my inner corner. But again, I did not, you know, wet it or anything. And look at that. Like, it's not too much again. It isn't like bam in your face, but you can definitely know there's something there, you know? Now I'm going to take that truffle shade with a flat, or with a, what is this, angled brush? Yeah, a liner brush, whatever it is, this thing. I'm taking one of these from Smashbox, and I'm just going to line my top lash line. And it's really not a good, like, I'm not doing it perfectly by no means. I'm really just going in and smudging it in, to be honest. It's not a perfect line or anything. Just want something there to make it look like I have, you know, more lashes. And I will say that trick does work. And then I'm going to get it right up on, I already put that pretty close to the lash line to begin with, but I'm going to go in even closer with that truffle color. But yeah, like, I do like these palettes. And I don't know why I don't use them more. I really don't. Probably because I have such a large collection. And to be honest, like, I know what I like. I'm sure we all do. I'm going to go back into that first shade, that cocoa shade. Blend that out some. Like, we all know what we like. And I think what it is that where I have the larger collection, I'm just not pulling for these. But it does not mean they're bad. But it does mean that maybe, just maybe, I should pull for these some. Alright, let's try to make sure we got it all blended somewhat together. I'm not going to guarantee that any of this is blended though, because I truly just smacked it all in there. Not even for sure if I got it the same depth. Darken it up a little bit more maybe. And with this one, if you, just like the other one, if you do set like your eyeshadow primer or something, this has a nice shade in it. What's it called? Swan. It's a nice shade to set your eyeshadow down with. Your primer, I mean. If you do that. If you don't, you're good. Alright. I think I got both eyes the same. Do I? I don't know. Alright. So, that's it for that. Now, for the mascara. So, I'm going to use my Rephr eyelash curler today to curl my lashes the best I can. And the mascara I'm using today, I think I may have used it before, I just don't remember it. But it is the Benefit, They're Real, the magnetic. Or They're Real magnetic. I don't know how I feel about this. Have you all used this? Did you all try it? I think I think I got it as, well, I know I got it as a sample. So I know I tried it, but I didn't remember if I liked it or not. It is a hard brush, which yes, it hurts if I hit myself with it. Absolutely. But it doesn't really like phase me either way, to be honest. I just have to be very careful not to poke myself in the eyeball. But I wasn't for sure on how I felt, or could remember even how it looked being put on my lashes. So I wanted it to give it a whirl again, right? And it hasn't like smudged. I've had this eye done for a while, so I kind of like to do that. That way I can see how everything wears. But it hasn't like transferred or smudged or, like created that dark mascara thing up here. It has not done that yet. But I really don't like the way my lashes look either. Like they look like, and it hasn't flaked. They just don't look good. My lashes don't. And I could be doing it wrong. Could be. Not saying I'm not. Because, like, when I first got it done, I thought they looked okay. Like, I think after coat 3. But it didn't make it look any better than any other mascara, you know? Of course, my two favorite is the YSL Lash Clash and Gucci. Oh, shoot. For different reasons, obviously, but I don't know. This one just didn't really do anything for me. I'll clean that mess up in a minute. Plus, I have to be so careful not to poke myself in the eyeball. Because if you do, I promise you it will hurt. Alright. And I don't understand why it's called magnet either. Alright, there we go. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it to look. To be honest. And, like, you can't even see them. I tell you. This is crazy. Alright, for the bottom lashes, I'm using the Lancome Def and Seals. And then I'll clean up the mess I made over there with that. And then, final look. We're done. So, I mean, if you're looking for an all like neutral palettes, and you like the tones, I think you would like the palettes. Because they do perform well. But it's nothing like wonderful either. I will say that it definitely looked like they changed up the metallic formula in them compared to before what I've been playing with, the older palettes. But even though it's changed up and it is better, it's still not like others, you know? But I just think it depends on what you're looking for also. Man. Alright. I think that's about as good as it's going to get there. I don't think I'm going to get it all the way off, so just try to do that. Alright. All in all, what do I think about this look? I like it. It's pretty. It's cute. It's easy to use. It's really just up to you. You know? That's what it comes down to. Like I said, I think they'd be good to travel with. Or if you're going just out of town for a day or something, you know, it would be good like that also. But if you were actually like traveling for weeks on end, I think it's a good palette just for the fact that you have so much variety in it. And if it breaks, you're not breaking your bank, but yet it is in sturdy packaging. Where, like, I'm not going to take my Natasha Denona or my Pat McGrath or any of that. But if it's just the weekend, I'm also just going to take, like, a smaller palette. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I really don't know who this palette benefits. Let me put it like that. I don't know. It's not... It is good for a beginner, so it does benefit that way. But I'm going to reach for my Natasha Denona, like, Biba palette. Or Glam palette, if I want a neutral look. Or even, like, I don't know. Safari palette, stuff like that. You know, that is neutral palettes before I chose that one. So, I don't know. I really get, like, who is it for? when it comes to this. I will say it is better. So if you do like Too Faced, that quality there is definitely the best. So I'll end it with that. And I think it turned out pretty. I'm sure I could create a lot more pretty looks out of it that are easy. But I probably won't. And the thing is that in all honesty, their other packaging, the metal one or whatever that is, the harder packaging, I actually like it better. And even though the quality isn't as good, I think I'd choose that over that because of the packaging alone. Because it's the whole experience, you know? And I can still create a pretty look using those. It's just not like this. So I think it really depends on that too. Like, are you wanting pretty packaging or something unique for packaging versus quality? Or are you looking for quality with an okay packaging too? You know, it kind of, it depends on what you want because it's a whole experience of doing your makeup. So I will let you go. I've rambled long enough and made no sense at all because I'm not cohesive in anything that I do, and I'm completely just all over the place because that's just who I am. But if you like this video and you like to be in chaos all the time, subscribe, ring the bell, hit all, that way you're notified when I upload. I upload every day but Sunday. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up too. And then I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.